Hello and welcome back to Building on a Budget Models. I'm Thomas and this is the second part of the Williams Renault FW16 build in 1/20th by Fujimi. I should start by saying that this is the 200th video on Building on a Budget Models. So if you've watched all 200, then you get a personal congratulations from me. Maybe watch all 200 of them again over the Christmas period. I glued the bodywork all together, masked off this seat section and then sprayed it TS26 Pure White. When that was cured, I then used the supplied masking stickers to mask around the areas where the Rothmans decals were going to go. Now you can use these to help you position the blue sections, or you can use some of the blue decals. I chose to use the blue decals because I felt that they were a match to the TS15 that I was going to use. I found afterwards that they weren't an exact match, but I felt that it was close enough. These stickers fit very nicely into place. Very happy with that. You've then got these decals here that go around the top. If you want to spray the blue sections, you could also use them for the gold section if you preferred. However, I used Tamiya 2cm masking tape just to cover all of this area to keep them white. And here it is after 3 coats of TS15 blue from Tamiya. I didn't leave this to cure for too long before I peeled it off, but I made sure that the white was all cured first. I left the rear bit of the sprue still attached so that it gave me something to hold on to here, and I didn't accidentally touch any of the painted sections. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Nice, clear, crisp lines. I did the same with the front part here. Made sure to mask that really well so as to not get any paint into the cockpit section, which you can see here has got masking tape over the top. And then I used some small snips of masking tape to keep these together whilst I added the decals. This is really important as the decals go over both sections of the cowling, so get these as well positioned as you can, and then later on I'll give them a little bit of a cut. I used micro set to position these and then used some strong decal solution from UMP to help them adhere as best as possible. I also had these Rothmans decals from MSM Creations. Now I actually made a bit of a mistake here. I should really have put on the long blue decal before positioning the Rothmans decals. As I'll show you later, I'm not best pleased with the positioning of them. It's not terrible, but I felt that it could be better. So here, these dark blue sections, you can choose to paint these instead. You can see at the back here how they need to fit around a sort of section which has another part that goes into, and they sort of curve around the edge of the cockpit at the front. Again, Microsol and UMP strong decal solution were used here. I then used a brand new craft blade once I was happy that those were all positioned correctly, and very, very carefully and slowly cut through these decals. You can instead, if you choose to, glue these sections all together and not worry about cutting these out apart, but I did want to make the rear cowling removable. The Rothmans logo here at the top I made sure was just on the rear cowling, so I didn't need to cut through this at all. Now for these Elf Renault decals, there are a few different versions depending on the Grand Prix. These are mainly in different positions depending on where you're going to put the fuel filler cap. I then cut through these ones just the same. When I was happy that the position was right, I removed the masking tape to let these parts cure independently of each other. These gold decals are probably the most challenging decals of all. The corner is where they need to fold over the edge, but these surfaces aren't particularly smooth, with some bumps and also sort of panel openings, so you do need to get these really well organised. Similarly, there's this gold decal which goes around the kind of suspension cover and back underneath the side pod areas, and also this decal here which goes around the cockpit. Be very patient when applying all of these. I'm making this Damon Hill's car, so his name goes up here. With the MSM Creations set, you also get Nigel Mansell and David Coulthard decals to replace the Ayrton Senna ones on the number 2 car. There's then also these Rothmans decals that go here. I had put some blue tack underneath the cover of the sort of suspension housing here to make sure that that cover stayed in the right position. Now it then came to do the front wing. I painted this in semi-gloss black already, but then used some masking tape to create the shapes for the carbon fibre decals. I applied this Tamiya tape and then drew around the edge. However, I found that this paint didn't stay on very well and it peeled off with the tape. So you may want to kind of remove some of the tackiness as best as you can. I found that the front spoiler here went together quite difficultly, so you needed a bit of force in places. Found the best way to put it together was to try to secure them as best as possible, maybe with a little force, and then to apply some extra thin cement into the kind of gaps, and the capillary action kind of fills those areas, and then leave it to set for as long as possible. I had already cut out all the templates for the carbon fibre decals. I find that the plain weave from Tamiya is the best representation of the carbon fibre used on this car. Again, a bit of micro set on the part, and then some UMP strong decal solution over the top, and then a little bit of a blast with a hairdryer really worked here. I'm pretty happy with that. The nose was also done in TS15. Now these Rothmans decals are actually slightly too big. However, they do fit, but it's important to put these into place before you put the white Goodyear decals that go beneath them, just to make sure that you have room for both of them. A little bit of micro sole helped them move around, and also these kind of adhered to the carbon fibre really nicely. cotton bud is really useful. Just roll this from side to side to remove any excess moisture. Did the Divella decals which go on the side, and then there's that old Williams logo on the nose, then the Magneti Marelli logo, and then the 0 which was used by Damon Hill in 93 and 94. I actually messed up this elf decal slightly, but fortunately there are a few spares in the kit. And then finally a Renault decal goes above all of that, and there's the nose done. I added details to the suspension part here with some silver and gold paint, and then glued it into place. Now for this electronics box here, which goes kind of behind the snorkel, I chose to remove the moulded wires and then drill some little holes and attach some longer Tamiya wire instead. That meant that it went behind the engine and looked a bit more realistic in my opinion. There's then a little black headrest that goes above the seat. Unfortunately this covered up the elf decal a little bit, so maybe do that a bit lower. Then the floor was kept in the black plastic because I felt that this would allow the carbon fibre decals to apply as best as possible. However, I did paint the underfloor of the engine bay in silver. Used the same 2cm masking tape to create the templates, and then used the same plain weave decal carbon fibre here and applied that with a bit of strong decal solution from UMP. I didn't bother doing this under the side pods because you won't see that anyway. Around the Coke bottle section here, you need to use decal solution really carefully because the surface isn't very smooth. Here around the kind of diffuser, I cut some thin slits to help them go around some of the bodywork. When all these decals had cured for a couple of days, I gave the floor a couple of coats of matte clear, whilst the bodywork was given 4 coats of TS13 gloss clear. And here they are, kind of test fitted together, as well as with some of the engine parts. I'll work on the front suspension next time, and the wheels and the driver. Here's some preview pictures of the finished car. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If you're watching this at a different time of the year, then you can have a Merry Christmas too. Thanks a lot for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.